So I was recently a judge at a window painting contest. Every year at Halloween, the city schools or the local area schools, middle school and high school, paint the windows downtown of the buildings. So I'm judging a bunch of middle school and high school pictures of Halloween stuff. It was an interesting experience being put in that position. Uh, it makes you think about criticism and kids and what you should say, and there were some pretty bad ones and there were a few good ones. Pretty easy really, I thought, to pick the number one, and basically it boiled down to talent. So that raises an interesting debate over whether or not effort, because I have no idea what effort these kids put into it, if that's more important than talent at that age, probably, but how can I judge that? So talent's certainly important, and especially in the real world, in the art world. I mean, it's not about who tried the hardest. That's my daughter throwing things over the wall. Nobody wants to hear negative criticism, and it's hard to tell them that it's important, you need to hear it. Negative criticism is healthy, because sometimes negative criticism is wrong. I know, like, authors and musicians often find that. You might get a bad review or a bad critique. That doesn't mean your work's bad. It means the reviewer didn't know what he was doing or didn't understand your work or whatever. One time I wanted to get into a museum show, and I didn't get in. And it turned out later that the judge was looking specifically for self-conscious work. Well, that's totally against my philosophy. It's totally against what my art is about. So of course I didn't get in. It doesn't mean that guy might have thought my work was crap, but it doesn't mean it is crap. And so who gives a criticism is very important, and you don't always know that. And for example, like American Idol, sometimes people are just deluded. I see the people, I'm going to make it, I'm going to be a fighter, I'm a good singer, I know it in my heart. America will find out soon enough. And these people are sad. They're not good. They're probably not going to be good, because many of them have already had lessons and have practiced and are as good as they're going to get. Some people have it, some people don't. And it's a hard line to know when you should give up. How do you know who to listen to? Who tells you to give up? First of all, it's hard to tell people to give up. I don't want to crush anybody's dream. I don't want to be the one that says, I'm sorry, you just don't have what it takes. How can I even say that? I don't know, Even if I did believe it, I'm one person. It's just a hard thing. So that was a big thing. The winner this year that we all thought was the best, turns out, I don't want to go into a lot of detail, but they weren't maybe as creative as they could have been. They stole some stuff from movies. Yet their work, even if all the people had the same whatever template to go off of or image to go off of, their work was still really artistic, and it was still a lot of talent there. So that's probably why they won. But nobody so people were kind of upset by that, because on some level they weren't as creative as some of the other people, but technically they were better, and it did look good. And with kids, nobody wants to tell them they're losers. Everybody's so worried about self-esteem. So I've seen it with sports. There's a trophy there's a prize for every place. Nobody ever really loses or wins. That's one philosophy, and they were actually talking about introducing that into this thing. Like, if you do a window, you automatically win a little gift certificate or something for the store that you're doing it for. And I don't really know if I'm for that. Competition, it's a good thing, I think, in general. I think it teaches you that some people are better than you as far as more skilled than you, and you can work really hard, and sometimes you can be on top. Not everybody can be, but it teaches you that there is that aspect of life. Also, I think it's a great self-esteem booster when you do win. When you really work hard and you do win, I think those kids really get a good boost of self-esteem. I don't think the losers should be called losers. I think they should be recognized, certainly for their talents, and criticized so in a way that maybe they can improve. But the winners, I don't think, should be denied that victory. But it's difficult because, in the real art world, there are winners and losers. There are people who get the contracts and the commissions, and there are people who don't. But this isn't the real art world. This is a school setting. So kids and their development and the way they view themselves and view art are shaped by some of these types of events. So you don't want to be ultra harsh reality right at the get-go. It's a difficult thing. Do you, like in sports, do you have a winner and a loser and make the kids feel bad who lose? And what if the kids who always win only win because maybe they're bigger or more developed, or maybe it's not fair, maybe because one kid has really involved parents and so they work hard on something and they have support, where the other kid has nothing and maybe goes to really bad circumstances, but they're a good kid and they're trying really hard, but they don't have the same resources to draw from. Maybe they don't have the same self-esteem, and so they don't perform as well as they could if they were raised by, little Mr. Popularity or Mrs. Popularity's parents. And is it fair to take these people and judge them against others in different situations? And that's a hard question. It's like if you're an artist and maybe you're a quadriplegic and you only paint with your mouth or something. Should that be considered when I'm judging your art, the fact that you did that way? Or should I judge your art on its own merits, right up there with fully capable other artists? I guess personally, I don't think I'd want a handout. I would want to either cut it on my own or not. I don't think I'd want special treatment. But, I'm not a quadriplegic. I might sing a different tune. I don't know. So same thing, though, that applies to their children, though. So let's say you have a child. It's not necessarily being judged as it's not necessarily a juried show or a museum exhibition. I mean, this is school stuff. So maybe these kids shouldn't be judged solely on talent and solely on, technical type ability. Maybe there should be some sort of room in there to reward effort or to reward people struggling with different circumstances. And only the teachers, unfortunately, can know these things, because I, as a judge, I don't know anything about the kids who painted these pictures. I have no idea what hardships they may have overcome. I don't know what they were told. I don't know what they've been taught. I don't know any of that. One school might have a better art teacher than another school. How does that? Obviously, the ones from the better teacher are going to do better. Is that fair to the other kids? It's not their fault. They don't choose the teacher. So all these things, I think about. And I don't have the answers for them. I guess I think that the prizes are a good thing, first, second, and third place. I think that good judges with good criticisms are a good thing. And I think at the ages we're looking at, especially in the middle school, I don't think it really matters much what our critique is. If you think you're a good artist and you think we're full of shit, then tell us that and move on. I don't think that starts to maybe become a problem until later. Until maybe you've worked at it a long time and you're just not improving, and the critics continue to say you're bad. But again, man, history, sometimes people are ahead of their time and are doing things that they're judged badly for, and then they die, and a couple hundred years later their work is considered great. It's a hard one to say for sure. So I guess the end, I want to say follow your heart. Then that brings me back to watching those American Idol people who I want to tell them, don't follow your heart. It's leading you wrong. You're seeking self-esteem or something in something that isn't there. So I don't know. It's a hard question. It's like seeing somebody in a bad relationship. You try to warn them, but of course they're not going to listen, because from their little world and their point of view, they're clouded. Everybody thinks they're sort of the center of the world in a way. I mean, they might view other people's opinions and listen to other people's opinions, but ultimately it comes down to what their truths are. So, I'm in love, or really, no, she's not that bad, you don't know her like I do, or something. When in reality, sometimes the third party looking at you with more objective eye, and if they're knowledgeable, maybe in this case do know more than you. It's a hard one to say. Well, I gotta go rescue my daughter. She looks like she's climbed in someplace she can't get out of. So until next time, bye.